Chosen one, there are moments in life when everything feels strangely quiet. Not peaceful quiet, but the kind that makes you wonder if something unseen is shifting behind the scenes. If you're watching this right now, there's a strong possibility you were meant to hear this message today. Because for many chosen ones, the moment right before a breakthrough doesn't look like victory at all. It looks like confusion. It looks like delay. It looks like doors closing one after another. But here is the truth most people don't realize. When God prepares a breakthrough for a chosen one, He often allows a season where everything feels like it's standing still. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening where you cannot see it yet. Think about it. The seed underground looks like nothing. From the surface it appears buried, forgotten, invisible. But beneath the soil, something powerful is forming. Roots are spreading. Strength is building. The seed is preparing to break through the surface. Chosen one, this is where many people misread their season. They think the silence means abandonment. They think the struggle means failure. They think the waiting means God forgot them. But what if the opposite is true? What if the reason the pressure has been so intense lately is because you are standing right at the edge of the breakthrough you've been praying for? There is a pattern that repeats throughout Scripture. Right before God moves in a powerful way, things often look impossible. Right before the miracle appears, the situation reaches its most difficult point. The night always looks darkest just before the morning arrives. And many chosen ones are in that exact moment right now. You have endured things that most people around you could not understand. You have fought battles internally that no one saw. You have questioned yourself, questioned your path, and sometimes even questioned whether your calling was real. But the truth is, the enemy often attacks the hardest when he knows he is about to lose access to your life. Chosen one, if this message is resonating with you right now, take a moment to support the channel by subscribing, liking the video, and sharing it with someone who may need this encouragement today. Your support helps this message reach other chosen ones who might be feeling alone in their journey. And if this message speaks directly to your spirit, consider sending a super thanks. It helps keep these messages going and allows this channel to continue encouraging people walking through seasons just like yours. Now let's go deeper into something many chosen ones experience right before their breakthrough arrives. Isolation. You may have noticed that certain relationships began to fade. Some people you once felt connected to suddenly drifted away. Conversations that used to flow easily now feel distant. At first, this can feel painful and confusing. But sometimes God removes distractions before He releases elevation. If everyone from your old season remained close, they might unintentionally hold you in a version of yourself that you're meant to outgrow. Not because they are bad people, but because your assignment requires growth that they may not understand. The chosen path is rarely crowded. Many of God's most powerful servants walked through seasons where they felt misunderstood, alone, or even rejected. But those seasons were never punishment. They were preparation. Because a breakthrough doesn't just change your circumstances. It changes who you are, and God will always prepare the person before releasing the promise. So if you've been feeling like things are shifting lately, if old patterns are breaking, if you sense something in your spirit telling you that change is close, you're not imagining it. Chosen one, your breakthrough may be closer than you realize. Chosen one of the most mysterious parts of walking a spiritual path is how God often signals a shift before the breakthrough actually arrives. These signals are not always obvious. In fact, many people overlook them completely because they expect miracles to appear suddenly and dramatically. But for chosen ones, the breakthrough usually begins long before the visible change happens. It begins with signs. These signs don't always look like blessings at first. Sometimes they appear as disruptions, uncomfortable changes, or moments that force you to pause and question everything. Yet when you look closely, these moments are actually indicators that something significant is unfolding in your life. One of the first signs many chosen ones experience is an increase in internal pressure. You might feel restless, almost like your spirit knows that something is about to happen, but your current life hasn't caught up with it yet. The routine that once felt normal suddenly feels heavy. Conversations that used to interest you now feel empty. Even environments you once tolerated start to feel draining. This isn't random. It's often a signal that your spirit is outgrowing the space you're currently in. Throughout the Bible, God frequently allowed discomfort before transformation. When a person was about to step into a new season, the old season began to feel impossible to remain in. What once felt stable suddenly started shifting. That pressure you feel is not meant to break you. It's meant to move you. Another sign chosen ones often notice before a breakthrough is spiritual sensitivity increasing. You may begin noticing patterns, coincidences, or moments of clarity that seem too precise to ignore. Certain messages appear at exactly the right moment. Certain warnings come just before a mistake could have been made. This heightened awareness can feel strange at first, but it's often the result of spiritual alignment. When you are getting closer to the purpose God has for you, your discernment sharpens. You begin to sense things earlier, understand people more clearly, and recognize situations that once confused you. It's as if your spiritual vision is adjusting. Then there is another sign that many chosen ones experience but rarely talk about. Resistance suddenly increases. Problems appear out of nowhere. Plans fall apart. Delays stack on top of each other. You may even feel like every step forward triggers another challenge. For someone unaware of the spiritual process, this can feel like failure. But for a chosen one, resistance often means you're moving in the right direction. Think about a door that has not been opened in a long time. When you first push it, it resists. It may even feel stuck. But that resistance is simply the friction of movement after a long period of stillness. Breakthrough works the same way. When your life is about to change, forces that once held you back begin losing their control. And as they lose that control, they push harder for a short period of time. This is why many chosen ones report that the hardest moments happen right before the biggest breakthroughs. But there is one more sign that might be the most important of all. A quiet sense of knowing begins to grow inside you. Even when circumstances look uncertain, something deep within your spirit tells you that things are about to shift. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's simply a calm awareness that you are approaching a turning point. Chosen one, if you have been noticing these signs in your life recently, you are not imagining things. You may be standing right at the edge of a new chapter. Chosen one, there is a truth that many people discover only after they look back on their journey. The most intense battles often appear right before the moment everything begins to change. When you are inside the struggle, it can feel unfair. You may ask yourself why the pressure seems to increase when you have already endured so much. You may wonder why obstacles appear just when you feel like you are finally moving forward. But throughout spiritual history, this pattern appears again and again. Before elevation comes testing. Before victory comes resistance. Before breakthrough comes the moment where faith is stretched further than comfort. Many chosen ones reach a point where the challenges seem heavier than usual. Problems appear in multiple areas of life at the same time. Relationships become strained. Plans fall apart. The future feels uncertain. It may even feel like everything you built is being shaken. But sometimes shaking is not destruction. Sometimes shaking is separation. When God prepares a chosen one for the next level of their purpose, certain things can no longer remain the same. Old habits, limiting beliefs, unhealthy attachments, and environments that once felt familiar must begin to loosen their grip. This process can feel painful because it forces growth. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph carried a dream placed in his heart by God, yet the path to that dream was filled with betrayal, rejection, and long seasons where it looked like the promise would never happen. He was misunderstood by his own family, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and later imprisoned for something he did not do. At each stage, it could have looked like the dream was fading away. But in reality, every difficult moment was positioning him for the exact place where his purpose would eventually unfold. Chosen one, many people misunderstand struggle. They believe that if God is with them, life should become easy. But Scripture repeatedly shows that those with the strongest callings often walk through the deepest preparation. Why? Because the weight of a breakthrough requires a foundation strong enough to carry it. Imagine someone being handed influence, opportunity, or responsibility before they are ready. Without the character to hold it, the blessing could quickly turn into a burden. So God builds strength first. That strength is often formed through challenges. When you face rejection, You learn not to depend entirely on people's approval. When plans collapse, you learn to trust God's direction instead of your own timing. When doors close unexpectedly, you begin discovering that a closed door can sometimes protect you from a path that was never meant for you. Each struggle quietly builds resilience inside you, and resilience is one of the greatest qualities a chosen one can develop. Another reason the battle intensifies before breakthrough is spiritual resistance. When you move closer to your purpose, the forces that benefited from your confusion begin losing their influence. The closer you get to clarity, the less control those forces have over your direction. That's why the pressure sometimes increases right before the shift. But here is what many chosen ones eventually realize. The season that almost broke them was the same season that prepared them. The doubts taught them to seek deeper faith. The loneliness taught them self-awareness. The obstacles taught them perseverance. And when the breakthrough finally arrives, they are no longer the same person who first prayed for it. They are stronger. They are wiser. They are ready. Chosen one, if your battles have felt heavier recently, it does not necessarily mean you are moving away from your purpose. In many cases, it means you are moving closer to it. Chosen one of the most powerful parts of a breakthrough is something that many people around you may never see. It's not the external change. It's not the opportunity, the recognition, or the doors opening. The most important transformation happens inside you first. Before God changes your situation, He often changes your perspective. Before the breakthrough appears in your life, the person receiving that breakthrough must grow into someone who can carry it with wisdom, humility, and strength. This internal shift usually happens quietly. You might notice that the things that once upset you no longer have the same power over your emotions. Situations that once caused anger now lead to reflection instead. You begin to pause before reacting. You start seeing lessons where you once only saw problems. That is not weakness. That is spiritual maturity forming. Chosen ones often go through a stage where their mindset begins to evolve in ways they didn't expect. Instead of constantly asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they slowly begin asking a different question. What is this season trying to teach me? That simple shift in thinking changes everything. Because once you begin looking for meaning inside the struggle itself loses some of its power. It stops feeling like punishment and starts revealing itself as preparation. Many chosen ones also notice that their discernment becomes stronger during this phase. You start seeing people more clearly. You recognize intentions more easily. Situations that once confused you now feel obvious. Sometimes this realization can be uncomfortable. You may discover that certain people were never meant to walk with you into your next chapter, not because they are evil or malicious, but because their path and your path are moving in different directions. Growth often creates distance, and while that distance can feel lonely at times, it also creates space for the relationships, opportunities, and environments that align with the next level of your life. Another transformation that happens before a breakthrough is the strengthening of patience. In today's world, patience is rare. Most people want results immediately. But chosen ones learn something deeper during seasons of waiting. They begin understanding that timing is just as important as the promise itself. Think about a fruit tree. If you try to harvest fruit before it is ready, it will be bitter and incomplete. But when the timing is right, the fruit naturally ripens and becomes exactly what it was meant to be. God often works the same way. The waiting period is not wasted time. It is time where unseen things are aligning. Doors are being prepared. Circumstances are being positioned. Lessons are being learned that will later prove essential. Chosen one, you may have noticed something else happening lately. You are becoming less interested in proving yourself to others. There was a time when being misunderstood might have frustrated you deeply. You may have tried to explain your intentions repeatedly, hoping people would finally understand who you truly are. But now something inside you feels different. You realize that not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Some people will only see the chapter of your life that they were present for. They won't see the growth that happened in private moments when you were praying, reflecting, and rebuilding yourself from within. And that realization brings a quiet peace. Instead of chasing validation, you begin focusing on alignment with God's direction. You care less about recognition and more about purpose. This shift is incredibly powerful. Because once a chosen one stops chasing approval, they become free to follow the path that was truly meant for them. And often, That moment of internal freedom is the final preparation before a breakthrough appears. Chosen one, if you've been sensing these changes within yourself, you are not imagining it. Your spirit is evolving. Your perspective is expanding. Your foundation is strengthening. Chosen one, something remarkable often happens when you reach the later stage of your preparation season. After the struggles, after the quiet inner transformation, after the long periods where nothing seemed to move forward, subtle shifts begin to appear. At first they may seem small. A conversation happens that wasn't planned. An opportunity appears where there was once a closed door. A situation that seemed stuck suddenly begins to move. These moments might look ordinary on the surface, but when you pay attention, they often carry a deeper meaning, because breakthroughs rarely arrive as one dramatic event. They usually begin with a series of unexpected openings. One of the most fascinating things about divine timing is that it often works through connections and moments that feel almost coincidental. You might meet someone who introduces you to a new direction. You might receive information that suddenly changes the way you approach a problem, or you might discover a talent within yourself that had been hidden for years. These are not random moments. They are often signals that the season is shifting. When God prepares a breakthrough, He also prepares the pathways that will lead to it, and many of those pathways begin appearing quietly, almost like pieces of a puzzle slowly coming together. For chosen ones, this phase can feel both exciting and confusing at the same time. You may start seeing possibilities that were not visible before. Ideas that once seemed unrealistic suddenly feel achievable. Doors that were once firmly closed begin to open just enough for you to step through. But here is something important to understand. Not every open door is meant to be walked through. Discernment remains essential during this stage. Sometimes opportunities appear to test whether you are ready to choose wisely. They reveal whether you have truly learned the lessons from your preparation season. A chosen one who has grown spiritually will begin asking a different question when new opportunities arise. Instead of asking, "Is this exciting?" they begin asking, "Is this aligned with the path God is guiding me toward?" This shift protects you from stepping into distractions that could delay your progress. Another powerful sign of an approaching breakthrough is restored clarity. During difficult seasons, your thoughts may have felt clouded. Doubts, worries, and uncertainty can make it hard to see the future clearly. But as the breakthrough approaches, that fog often begins to lift. You start understanding your direction with more confidence. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become easier to navigate. Your intuition becomes sharper, and your faith feels steadier. It's almost as if your mind and spirit begin working together with greater harmony. Chosen one, many people underestimate how important this clarity is. They focus only on the visible results of a breakthrough, like success, recognition, or financial improvement. But clarity itself is one of the greatest blessings, because once you see your path clearly, you move forward with purpose rather than hesitation. And purpose attracts progress. You may also notice that certain people begin appearing in your life during this stage. These individuals might offer encouragement, wisdom, or opportunities that align perfectly with where you are headed. They may not stay forever, but their presence serves a specific role in your journey. This is another way God works quietly behind the scenes. He places the right people at the right moments to help move the story forward. But perhaps the most important thing to remember during this stage is gratitude. Even before the full breakthrough arrives, learning to appreciate the small steps forward strengthens your faith. Gratitude keeps your heart grounded and reminds you that progress is already happening, even if the final result has not fully appeared yet. Chosen one, if you are beginning to see small doors opening where there were once only walls, take that as a powerful sign. Your season is shifting. Chosen one, as you move closer to your breakthrough, one thing becomes clearer than ever. Faith is no longer just an option. It is your most powerful weapon. Everything you have endured, every lesson you have learned, every season of waiting builds toward a point where faith is the bridge between preparation and manifestation. Without it, even the greatest opportunity can slip away. Faith in this context is not passive. It is not simply believing that something good will happen. True faith requires action. It requires trust in the unseen, obedience to the voice guiding you, and persistence even when circumstances appear contrary. The chosen ones who experience the most profound breakthroughs are often those who refuse to let their hope waver, even in the moments when doubt seems loudest. You may have noticed that when breakthrough is near, circumstances often appear more intense. Resistance seems to increase, challenges multiply, and the world around you may feel as if it's testing your resolve. This is not coincidental. These moments are the spiritual measure of your faith. They are designed to reveal whether your belief is rooted in convenience or in something deeper, your connection to God's purpose for your life. Think of faith like a muscle. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance, your faith strengthens when it is exercised under pressure. Every time you choose to trust despite fear, every time you take a step forward, even when the path is unclear, you are building the spiritual strength necessary to carry the breakthrough that is approaching. The Bible illustrates this principle repeatedly. Abraham was promised descendants when he was advanced in age. Joseph was elevated to power only after years of betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. David became king after being anointed in youth, but enduring years of exile and trials. In every case, faith was the defining factor. Faith that pressed on, faith that did not falter, faith that believed in the unseen promise. As a chosen one, this is your season to do the same. The external world may seem chaotic, but your internal alignment, your unwavering faith, prepares you to step into the shift fully prepared. Faith creates the conditions for miracles to manifest because it allows you to act in accordance with the doors God is opening, instead of being paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. But faith is also about focus. It requires turning your attention from what you see in the natural and fixing your eyes on the spiritual reality God has placed before you. Every whisper of encouragement, every subtle alignment, every nudge of intuition is part of the divine orchestration. When you respond with faith, you become a participant in the miracle, not just a bystander waiting for it to happen. Chosen one, know this. Your breakthrough is not simply a reward. It is the result of your faithfulness, your perseverance, and your readiness to walk in alignment with God's plan. Let doubt fall away. Let hesitation fade. Strengthen your faith daily, even in the smallest choices, because each act of trust accelerates the arrival of what has been prepared for you. Chosen one, every journey toward a breakthrough reaches a point where the shift can no longer be ignored. The signs, the preparation, the inner transformation, and the subtle openings, all of it culminates in a moment where God makes his move unmistakable. This is the moment when the breakthrough becomes undeniable, and your life begins to change in ways that cannot be reversed. At first, it may arrive quietly. A door opens that was firmly closed. A word of encouragement comes at exactly the right moment. Resources appear where none seemed available before. It may seem small at first, almost unremarkable, but for a chosen one, it is a divine confirmation that the season of waiting and preparation is ending. The undeniable breakthrough often feels sudden, even though it has been in preparation for a long time. Many chosen ones are caught off guard because they have been conditioned to measure progress by what they can see in the natural. But God rarely works in ways that are immediately obvious. He works in hidden layers, aligning every detail until the right time comes. Then, with perfect timing, the manifestation happens, and everything you have endured takes on new meaning. This moment also serves as a profound validation. All the struggles, the doubts, the periods of waiting, the moments of feeling alone, they were not wasted. Every challenge was a step designed to prepare you for the exact level of responsibility, wisdom, and clarity you need to walk into the breakthrough fully ready. Your spiritual maturity, your resilience, and your faith converge to carry you through the doors that are now opening. Another remarkable aspect of this stage is the clarity of purpose it brings. Suddenly, the path that once seemed unclear becomes illuminated. Opportunities that were confusing before now make perfect sense. Connections and relationships that are meant to last solidify, while those that were never aligned drift away. The breakthrough does more than change your circumstances. It redefines who you are and how you operate in the world. The undeniable breakthrough also comes with a sense of divine timing that cannot be replicated by human effort. You may have tried to force change in the past, pushing against circumstances or relying on your own strategies. But now, everything moves in rhythm with God's plan. Doors open, resources flow, and people appear at exactly the right moment. not by coincidence, but by divine orchestration. Finally, chosen one, this moment is a call to responsible action and gratitude. A breakthrough is not merely a gift to be enjoyed passively. It is a responsibility. To walk in alignment with God's purpose and to honor the journey that led you here. Celebrate it, acknowledge the preparation season, and step confidently into the new chapter with faith and wisdom. Your breakthrough is closer than most can see, and when it arrives, it will be undeniable. You will recognize it because it carries the unmistakable fingerprint of God. It will not only change your circumstances, but transform your life, elevate your purpose, and confirm that you were indeed chosen for something extraordinary. This is the promise of the chosen. The trials, the waiting, and the inner transformation all lead to a moment that cannot be ignored, a divine breakthrough that marks the beginning of the next chapter in your destiny.